Foodies who love to read, we're back again with yet another delicious recipe, and this time we are going a little bit brunch. You know what I mean? Because I feel like once I start making these, if you know, you know. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going with this until I get there. You understand me? I'm going to show you when we get there, okay? But we're going to start with a little bit of all-purpose flour. We're going to do about 2.5 cups of that. You're going to need a cup of buttermilk. You're going to need 1 egg. You're going to need about a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking soda. You're going to need about 4 tablespoons of baking powder. You're going to need a full stick of unsalted butter. You know what I mean? And I'm going to cut this up in just a second. Now, I done pre-mixed all of this, you know what I mean, to save us some time, okay? Because we want to get to the end of this thing and make it delicious. And I was inspired to make this particular item or food item because of a book that I recently finished reading that I have been screaming to the heavens. Anybody with ears, anybody who, and if you don't know already, then you're missing out. A love song for Ricki Wilde. Do you hear me? This book had me embarrassing myself on Beyonce's internet. I'm talking about crying. I never thought I would cry into the camera. Do you understand me? But I was crying into that camera because this book, first of all, is a lover who loves all things love, all things happiness and kisses and hugs and romance. This book was everything for me. It was magical. It was a little bit of voodoo, a little bit of paranormal activity-ish, time travel, love at first sight. It was Harlem Renaissance. It was a modern and contemporary romance. It was all the things. I don't know how Talia Williams does what she does when she does it, but honey is able to get all of the things that we need into one place. And that's what this book is. It's savory, it's sweet, it's romantic. It's like, that thing just feels like a good time. You hear me? It feels like long-term love, and it just makes you want to love more. And then one of the other good things about this book that is so cool is I love how the characters are so layered. So of course, you know, the main characters. You have the leading lady. You have Ezra, who is the leading male. You know what I mean? You have, of course, the stellar cast, but then you have the best friend, and then you have the, what I'll call her surrogate grandmother. You know what I mean? All of these characters coming together because Miss Della was the grandmother and aunt that we all needed and didn't know. Do you understand me? She's the one who we wanted. Okay. I love that book so much. There is a quote in there that I have got to pull up. And let me tell you, because I'm messing it up. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut this up into cubes as small as you can, because we're going to get this inside of that flour mixture there. And I am telling you, while reading that book, it inspired me. It made me want to bake. It made me want to get into the kitchen and put my hands in something that felt good. You know, the way that my main character, Miss Ricki, the way that she felt about her flower shop. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I felt while reading that book. I almost didn't even want it to end, you know? But that's how Tia Williams writes, though. Like, you fall in love with her characters so much, you feel like you're longing when they're done. I just don't know how she do it. It's insane. I've been in love with her since 7 Days in June. And of course, her Netflix special, well, it was a book converted into a special. And you want to get these cubes about that small. You know what I mean? Not too big, you know. Take your time and sprinkle them throughout. And I'll show you why in a minute, because we're going to break that down. And they don't have to be perfect. Just like love isn't perfect. But it's all rewarding and it's just wonderful. I'm telling you right now, when I was reading that book, it just affirmed that there is a such thing as love at first sight. I don't care what y'all say. I think it's possible to see somebody, someplace in time, somewhere in life, and know that they are your human. You know what I mean? Know that they are the person for you, that no matter the time, the zone, the century, that you two would find each other, that love belongs to you. I know, I'm sappy, I'm a hopeless romantic, and that book just fed my delusion. I know, I love living in Delulu land with these dag nabbit books. But I just love this book so much. I just loved it. And I love the heroine. Like, I love that, there were so many layers to her, how she decided, in spite of, she was going to win. She was going to be okay. She was going to do all right. And everything was going to be just fine. So now that we got that all mixed in, we got our butter in there. Now you about to get your hands dirty. Because love can be dirty. It can be messy. And you're going to keep on working that butter through here until it starts to feel like grainy. You know what I mean? You want it to feel kind of like the texture of flour should feel like more coarse as you're doing it, almost sand like, as you're working that butter through. And that's why we cubed it. You want to make sure that it's cold because it gives you the consistency that you're looking for. You know what I mean? I imagine this is how Ricki Wilde was working in the soil when she was building out her flower arrangements. In my mind, this is what she was doing. I'm telling you, I swoon. And the dag-nabbit decor of that daggone shop, as the Tia Williams described it, honey, it was everything I needed. Do you understand me? And you just want to keep working. It's going to take you a few minutes to get it right. But that's okay, because we got time. And you just want to work that through. Work that through. It's okay. Get them hands messy. And also, I want to point out that inside of this surprise I'm making, because I'm telling you, when you see it, you're going to know. You understand what I'm telling you? Is our very unique and delicious vanilla sugar. It is so yummy. It just sets desserts and food apart. You know what I mean? If you're looking for something that goes in like your beverages, something that goes in your snacks, something that goes in some type of dessert, baby, I got you. That daggone foodies who love to read, vanilla sugar, it don't miss. It don't miss. Okay, so now that's the texture we're looking for. This is the consistency that you want to see. See, almost looks like that kinetic sand that the kids play in. That's what you want. And that's nice and buttery. And work that thing through your fingers a couple more times and you are good to go. Okay, now we're going to take our mixture here. Scrape out as much as you can, because that consistency is everything. You understand me? That's what you want. The texture is what matters the most. Take that off like that. Now, your hands are about to get messy. You can flour them up. You can do what you want to do, but it ain't going to help, in my opinion. They going to get messy. And what you want to do is you want to knead this a little bit. Knead it a little bit around town, and you're going to start collecting some of that flour that you just put on your board. So you'll probably end up putting some more. If you have like a what is it, like glass, or I forget the type of stone that the cutting boards come in sometimes, that is also more effective. But you just want to knead this a little bit. Hands gonna get nice and messy, I'm telling you, but I don't care. You understand me? I don't care. It don't bother me none. I like a little bit of messy. Just kind of reminds me of how Ricki Wilde was like trying to find herself when her family was against her and her dusty tail daddy. And they kept on trying her and they was doubting her, and it was really making my girl feel bad about herself. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't give up. Like, I'm not going to give up with the stickiness of said dough. Okay? And you can also add a little bit more flour, but as you can see, I'm trying to be very careful. Being careful. And I would also like to point out, because I know the bakers are going to be in the comments saying, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. This is like my first or second time making this. Please give me some grace. But my family loves this kind of stuff. And so I'm going to give it a shot. You understand me? I am inspired by my love for this book. So once you get your dough flat as you like it, you know what I mean? These are technically, if you haven't noticed, these are going to be drop biscuits. But the cool thing about this is, if you know, these is my mama biscuits. You understand me? So I don't have a fancy cutter, but we're going to make that thing do what it do, because that's what we do. So I have a wonderful glass, because it works just the same. Look at that. You heard what I said? Okay. It cuts just the same. Gives us the little roundness that we're looking for. Okay, this one's gonna be Good. And you're just gonna cut it like so, like that. Pull it away. Rinse your hand right up in there. Boom. Boom. That's it. Now, you can cut these and make them the size that you and your family, you know, prefer. As for me and mine, I prefer like a fluffier, kind of like thicker, messier drop biscuit. So that's what I like. Now you're going to do it to your liking and your preference, and let me know how it works for you, because I swear this is like so simple, but it is so delicious. You can also do these in the form of a scone, and these are good for like brunch. Mother's Day is coming up, Father's Day is coming up. This will be perfect for that. And they're also good for just like grab and go items for your household. You know what I mean? Oh, and I forgot to mention, these are sitting and resting on some parchment paper. You definitely need that, though. I highly recommend using parchment paper. If you got some fancy way to do it, and I'll take notes, but this one will probably be for my youngest. And that's what you do. And now the next thing I'm about to do is make my little egg wash. And I am going to top these off with some egg wash, and they're going to go into the oven, and they're going to be done. Now the oven is preset at 375. They're going there for about 22 minutes. I'm going to top it off with a little bit of egg wash, and they're going to be delicious. You understand me? We good as done. You want to make sure that you get that egg nice and beaten. We want that loose, because that is our egg wash mix. So take your little brush, and you're going to top this over top of these drop biscuits. I'm telling you, y'all, this smells so good. It's going to be so delicious. And that vanilla sugar just sets it right off. It's just like the perfect touch. And I like when the biscuit is kind of like deformed. You know what I mean? You want that thing to look like it just came out of somebody's kitchen, okay? Somebody's backwoods kitchen, you know, not the modern one. We want it to look like it just came out of somebody's name who's Shirley. You know what I mean? Claudine, you know, something like that. Some name with some oomph. It came out of her kitchen, okay? Miss Della's kitchen from the book, okay? That's whose kitchen these came out of, because they made with love and they smell delicioso. Okay, you want to make sure they get like a nice little top coat. You can pop these in the oven for 20 minutes, and they're going to be good. Okay, so now we've officially done the best that we can with these biscuits. And if these don't look like my mama biscuits, you understand me? I don't know what do. Okay, they are delicious. Do you hear me? Just perfect and fluffy and that nice crisp on the top. But no biscuit is complete, especially a vanilla, sugar, lemon, blueberry biscuit is not complete without the glaze. So you're gonna take you a couple lemons, take out your seeds, squeeze that in there like so. Get all of the goodness in there. Now, I highly recommend our foodies who love to read urban novella. It's Giving a Little goes a long way. Vanilla sugar, because it just takes things up to another notch. Like, you could use basic, you know, powdered sugar, but who wants to do that? Who's doing that? You know what I mean? If you're going to do it all the way like my girl and Ezra did, okay? If you're going to do it, okay? So you're going to take a little bit of this. Now this, you use at your own discretion. Look at that. Just get into it. Look at that vanilla bean, the all natural sugar. That is some kind of good. And you're going to add as much as you like or as little based on how many you made and your family's preference. Now, I used a full lemon, so I want mine to be a little bit thicker. I don't want it to be too runny. Like, I want it to kind of like give me a good consistency. And you're going to shake that thing up. And keep on. Now, when you take this out, your biscuits are going to be hot. You know what I mean? So as you're making this, it's going to create a sticky glaze as you spread it all over them. And you can do this at a cool temperature or you can do this at a hot temperature. It's completely up to you and your family's preference. You're gonna whisk this together. You can also do this over the stove if you like. But I just like to take a little bit, and I'll just use this one because my family's picky. That is good. And that's it. You don't have to do all of them, just enough, you know. And I recommend putting it on before you eat them and just kind of like holding on to the glaze and adding it as you go, unless you're like gonna have them like completely warm, you know. And that's all. And these wonderful My Mama's biscuits. Shout out to Martin. Go get you a copy because you're missing out. I don't want that for you. You understand me? Because I'm a foodie who loves to read, and this book read me. Y'all have a good night. Mwah.
Moody Media. Did it again. Did it again. Did it again.